Satyavati was overjoyed to see Vyasa. She explained the situation of the kingdom in detail and asked him to have children with her daughters-in-law, Ambika and Ambalika. Vyasa replied, "Mother, I am a lifelong celibate, but it is my duty to obey your words, so I will do as you say. However, instead of being with them physically, I will use my spiritual power to create a cosmic birth." He then drew two circles opposite each other and sat in one, instructing Ambika to sit in the other. As he began to channel his spiritual energy to create the cosmic birth, his appearance became fierce, with his body covered in hair, as he usually lived in the forest. Seeing this terrifying form, Ambika closed her eyes in fear. After some time, the process was completed. Vyasa then told Satyavati, since Ambika closed her eyes during the process, she will give birth to a blind child because of a mistake. Satyavati was worried and asked, "Will a blind child rule the kingdom? If not, there should be another heir." This time she sent Ambalika to Vyasa and warned her not to close her eyes. But Ambalika couldn't remain calm when she saw Vyasa's form. She trembled with fear, and because of her trembling, Vyasa predicted that she would give birth to a child with a pale complexion and a condition similar to anemia. Still unsatisfied, Satyavati urged Ambalika to stop trembling and to approach Vyasa. Fearful, Ambalika secretly sent a maid in her place. The maid, however, sat before Vyasa with great courage and joy. Impressed by her bravery, Vyasa blessed her with a strong and healthy child. Through Vyasa, Ambika gave birth to a son named Dhritarashtra, who was incredibly powerful but blind. He was first in line to the throne of Hastinapura. Ambalika's son was Pandu, who was physically weak but very skilled in archery. The maid's son was Vidura, who was strong, intelligent, and a firm believer in righteousness. The future of Hastinapura was to be shaped by these three individuals. Bhishma, who loved them very much, brought them up with great care and affection. He taught them the arts of war, the use of weapons, the Vedas, and moral science. However, there was always an undercurrent of tension between Dhritarashtra and Pandu, of which Bhishma was unaware. Dhritarashtra, who was blind, feared that his rightful throne would be taken by his younger brother, Pandu. Similarly, Pandu harbored resentment, believing that a blind man like Dhritarashtra should not be king. This mutual animosity festered in their hearts as they grew older. When they came of age, Dhritarashtra, being the firstborn, was crowned king, while Pandu was made commander-in-chief. Although Dhritarashtra was king, it was Pandu who actually ruled the kingdom, a fact that was an open secret to everyone. Around the same time, Bhishma learned that the royal family of Gandhara was oppressing and torturing its people. Gandhara, which corresponds to modern-day Afghanistan, was ruled by a tyrannical king. On learning of this, Bhishma waged war against Gandhara, defeated the king, captured him and his 100 sons, and brought them back to Hastinapura as prisoners of war. According to the rules of war, prisoners should not be killed or starved. But Bhishma felt that those who had inflicted such brutal torture on their own people did not deserve to live. He imprisoned all 101 of them in a large, well-shaped dungeon and decreed, "You shall each be given a single grain of rice a day. Die of hunger." Then, among the prisoners, the king of Gandhara, Shubala, pleaded with Bhishma, "We are 101 in number, I and my 100 sons. The 101 grains of rice you provide will not be enough, and we will all become weak and die. But I beg you, whichever of us survives and is the last, please spare his life, as he will witness the deaths of his 99 brothers and his father. Such a person will never do wrong again. Please, at least spare the life of the last survivor." Bhishma, moved by this plea, agreed to the request. This was Bhishma's greatest mistake. This one small act of mercy led to the Kurukshetra war in the Mahabharata. By showing mercy to the enemy, Bhishma broke the rule that one must never show mercy to the enemy under any circumstances. Friends, can you believe that reading just one fascinating story can change a person's entire life? Can you believe that just by reading this story to your children, they will learn the values they need for life? Can you believe that whatever problem you're facing now or in the future, you can find a solution just by reading a story? Yes, it's possible. Only with the greatest epic ever told in the history of mankind, the Mahabharata. This story is 100 times more powerful than any blockbuster film. It's a challenge. The complete story of the Mahabharata, written in the words of Vikram Aditya, is available in 2 volumes in book and ebook form on Amazon and 43 other online stores. This book is available in 54 languages worldwide. Links are provided in the description below this video. Order it now because it is not just a book. It is a library of wisdom for your life." That night, the soldiers gave each of the 101 prisoners a single grain of rice. King Shubala of Gandhara called his 100 sons to him and said, "My sons, we have tormented the people, and now Bhishma intends to kill us in a more cruel way by letting us die slowly of hunger. But he has promised to spare the last of us who is still alive. This last survivor must be the wisest among us. He will be the one to bring about the complete destruction of Bhishma's family and kingdom. Those who wish to see us suffer and starve must face hardships greater than any in history. But to achieve this, strength alone is not enough. We cannot defeat Bhishma with physical force. We must outsmart him. So tonight, I will set you all a test. Only the one who passes this test will receive all 101 grains of rice as food. The rest of you must prepare to sacrifice your lives." Shubala continued, "Each of you has 1 grain of rice. The one who can thread a string through the middle of the grain without breaking it will be considered the wisest, and I will give him all the rice." All his sons tried, but the grains kept breaking. Among them was the youngest son, who noticed a small tube-like object and a thin broom straw nearby. He placed the grain of rice at one end of the tube, tied a string to an ant's leg, and gently guided the ant into the tube. With no other way out, the ant burrowed through the grain of rice, threading the string through it. The grain remained intact. The young prince then showed the threaded grain to his father. Shubala was overjoyed and declared, "This boy alone can avenge us all." He then gathered all the grains of rice into a single lump and fed it to his son. This son was named Shakuni. Shakuni grew up to be very wise. He could tell the strengths and weaknesses of a person just by looking at them. With his calm and persuasive speech, he could bend anyone to his will. Within weeks, one by one, Shakuni's 99 brothers perished. Finally, only Shakuni and his father, King Shubala, were left. Shubala called his son to him and said, "Shakuni, we have seen our 99 kinsmen die before our eyes. 99, no one who is responsible for our deaths should be allowed to live. I too will soon die, and you will be the last of us. But time has a way of healing even the deepest wounds. After you are released and return to our kingdom, the comforts and joys you experience may cause you to forget our vengeance. If that happens, our deaths will go in vain, so I have made a decision." Shubala grabbed Shakuni's leg, looked at him with a smile, and suddenly, with a swift movement, snapped Shakuni's leg off near the knee. As Shakuni cried out in pain, Shubala said, "By breaking your leg, I have made you a cripple. From today you will walk with a limp. Every step you take will be a constant reminder of our vengeance. I too will die today. After I am gone, take the bone from my right thigh, grind it against a stone, and use it to make dice. These dice will contain my power, and whatever number you wish to roll, the dice will obey your will." Having given these instructions, Shubala died. Shakuni, filled with grief and anger, took the bone from his father's thigh and, lost in deep thought, began to grind it against a stone. He decided, to act rashly will lead to failure. I must bide my time until the opportunity presents itself. When the moment is right, I will be close by, and, with a carefully crafted plan, I will slowly poison and destroy this kingdom. As promised, Bhishma released Shakuni, the last survivor. But Bhishma wanted to ensure that there would be no enmity with the kingdom of Gandhara. He decided that the best way to ensure peace was to propose a marriage alliance. A few months later, Bhishma went to Gandhara and suggested that Dhritarashtra and Shakuni's sister, Gandhari, get married. He spoke highly of Dhritarashtra, praising his strength, wisdom and righteousness, making him sound like an ideal match. Only at the end of his proposal did Bhishma mention that Dhritarashtra was blind. Shakuni, furious, replied, "You praised him with all these great qualities, and then at the very end reveal that he is blind? My sister doesn't need to marry a blind man." Gandhari, hearing this, got up, ran to her room and locked the door. Everyone rushed to the door, knocked loudly, and urged her to open it. When she finally did, everyone was shocked. Gandhari had a blindfold tied over her eyes. Shakuni asked her, "Sister, what is this?" Gandhari replied, "Brother, when Bhishma spoke of my future husband's virtues, I had already accepted him as my husband in my heart. Even before I knew that he was blind, I had decided that he would be my husband. His lack of sight is a small flaw in an otherwise great man. No one in this world is without faults. If my husband cannot see the world, then I do not want to see it. This blindfold is a symbol of my love for him." With these words, she joined Bhishma and left for Hastinapura. Shakuni's hatred only deepened. He decided to wait for the right opportunity to take his revenge. Friends, the next episode will take the story to the next level. Don't miss it. We'll be back at the same time next Saturday. If you haven't already ordered my Mahabharata book, do so now. The links are in the description below this video. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do so immediately. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.